So following my last video, which was on SJWs and just racist assholes, I decided to do another video which I want to get out of the way because here's the thing, I don't really like to talk about this shit that often because I don't like to talk shit about people that much anymore. Now, I understand if you think the response series is me talking shit about people. It's not really talking shit about them in general, it's talking shit about their opinions. I didn't hate Joseph. I hated his fucking opinion on women and the world that he lived in. He was full of shit. So, but this has nothing to do with him or the responseers in general. No, this has to do with fat people. I happen to be a part of that group. I'm an overweight male, and I don't complain. I really don't. I've never complained about it because that's just what I am. I'm overweight, and I'm too fucking lazy to do something about it. That's a fact. I'm straight up telling y'all the truth. I probably could lose weight if I walked around or maybe danced or, something. But I just don't. I just don't really want to. So there you go. I'm fucking lazy and I don't want to lose weight. But one thing I do see, this isn't me, this is a lot of other overweight people, and I don't really see this with overweight men a lot. It's more to do with a lot of overweight women. Now, I absolutely have no problem with overweight women. In fact, I prefer curvy girls. I do. I honestly like girls with a little weight to them. I'm not going to lie. And I'm not one of those guys who would never date a fat chick or anything. Like I said, I'm not an asshole. At least I try not to be. But the thing is, I see a lot of overweight women in media outlets online talking about, well, a thing called fat shaming. Now, I will admit that there is a stigma around overweight people. Uh, and I think it's more around overweight males than it is overweight women. It is much harder for an overweight man to find a date or anything like that than it is an overweight woman. Overweight women can find skinny men. It is much harder for an overweight man to find a date or a girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever, than necessarily it is for a woman. You see all kinds of overweight women with skinny men, and those overweight women yet don't want to be around overweight men a lot of the times, which is being a hypocrite, really. Um, but the whole fat shaming phenomena, which I have no problem with because I don't care, just going back to another I don't care moment, has gotten pretty ridiculous. I understand we should not make fun of a person for their weight, and that just because someone's overweight doesn't mean their opinions don't matter or that you shouldn't trust them or any of that shit. Trust me, I completely agree with those points. But I'm not going to say that overweight women have it any worse than really anyone else. When you tell me that overweight women have it worse than, say, really skinny women, and then you go on to say, well, skinny women are called beanpoles and shit, but, here's what I had to deal with. You can't do that. You can't give me a reason why people would make fun of them and then say, well, I have it worse because people make fun of me. That's fucking ridiculous. But, I do understand. Like I said, there is a stigma around overweight people, but I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people think it is. It's truly not. Being an overweight male, like I said, I have suffered at the end of fat stigma. And honestly, I'm better for it. I don't care. You know how many comments I got saying shit like, oh, you got big man titties and look how fat you are and shit? And I just laugh them off because it's fucking stupid. I know a lot of people don't like overweight people. I understand that. And I know a lot of women don't like overweight men too. I get that. But I don't cry about it. And that's the difference between me and this whole fat shaming phenomena that really has nothing to do with anything other than giving more people a reason to bitch. So, like, what do I think about it? I think it's bullshit. Like I said, I do understand there is a stigma around overweight people. Overweight people are treated like shit a lot of the times. That is true. But I don't want anyone saying, well, uh, we have to do this and we have to do that. No, trust me, I know, but I'm not going to complain because, like you all, I'm fat because I like to eat. Now, understand that's not a lot of people's stories. There are people who have medical reason why they're overweight. But I would say a good 70% of overweight people do it because they overeat. That is a fact. Don't get me wrong, unlike Nicole Arbor, that scrawny cunt, she is a bitch, and I will say she's a bitch. Go watch her fucking fat people video. I'm not going to say it's not a disease because obesity is definitely a disease. It truly is. Just like alcoholism is considered a disease. I hate to tell you something, but if you can't stop drinking, a lot of overweight people can't really stop eating. I should know. I'm one of them. It is extremely hard, to eat dinner and then not eat a slice of cake. It truly is. But it is possible. It is possible not to do it. You have to have a strong mindset, which I've already admitted I do not have. But I'm not going to blame society for my issues, and I'm not going to blame skinny people or men or women or any minority or the media. I'm not going to blame any of them because honestly, it was my fault. I ate too much. I'm fat. Do I like being called fat? Not really, but I deal with it because I am. Just like a lot of African Americans had to deal with being called names, and same with Mexicans and a lot of other minority groups. So I do think fat shaming is bullshit. I think it's an excuse just to have another fucking moment for people to cry about. And I do believe that being fat, it can be changed if you're willing. Like I said, I'm not willing to change, so I probably won't be changing anytime soon. So, fat power.